to the Idea Podcasts, Mr. Kassiano Wadri.
Thank you. You're most welcome.
It's an honor to again meet you again. I last interfaced with you, but by that time you were very busy moving out and in of the FDC headquarters. You were in elections. But in general, we'll start. Who is Mr. Kassiano Wadri?
Well, you have asked me a question which I think I will broadly say I am a politician, having come from civil service background and for the time being doing business.
Yeah.
I was in the civil service. I served for 20 years until I became a commissioner. And in 2001, I decided to go for elective politics. And at that time, they had wanted me for a higher position in the civil service, but I declined to go for the interview for permanent secretary. I said, no, I'm going for elective politics. I joined elective politics in 2001, and I served up to 2016, where I was out of parliament for 2 years. Then in 2018, I bounced back up to 2021. That has been what I am. And in all those years I have been in parliament, I held a number of responsibilities. I was opposition chief whip of the opposition in parliament when the FDC was the largest political party in the opposition. I served in that office for 5 years. And concurrently with that 5-year service, I also served as acting leader of the opposition for around 1.5 years when my senior brother, the Honorable Professor Genga Latigo, was indisposed.
Yeah.
In my party, I served as the Deputy Secretary General for Administration. That was FDC for 10 years. And then thereafter, for another 1 year, I served as the Deputy Secretary in charge of mobilization for Northern Uganda. And while in Parliament, I also served as Chairman, Public Accounts Committee for 2.5 years. And for another 2.5 years, I served as Chairman, Government Assurances and Implementation Committee.
Yeah.
As I said, that is what I am in short right now.
Sure.
The rest, I think, will come when you ask me the appropriate
How
time.
did you get introduced to elective politics?
My participation in elective politics was not just a matter of accident, as it were.
Yeah.
I had, during my student lifetime, I was the secretary for organizational secretary for the Democratic Party in Makerere University.
Oh, interesting.
So from that time, we were the people who were so youthful and traversed this country. In 1980, campaigning for the then presidential flag bearer, Dr. Paul Kawanga Semogerere.
Oh, yeah.
And we traversed this country as youth leaders while in the university. And of course, my political participation in the university ended up with the arrest. You know, when APCs and tanks went to Makerere University for the first time, this was on 20th of February. It is still alive in my head that the APCs and tanks and soldiers went to arrest us. And this was just 2 days when I had handed over the leadership of Northcote Hall, that I served as a chairman and the mess minister.
All right.
And on the 20th, on the 19th, I think, I handed over the chairmanship of Northcote Hall to Hannington Karuhanga, Mr., who I think who is a brother-in-law to His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. It was me who handed over chairmanship of Northcote Hall. And unfortunately, because of our participation and involvement into active politics and what we were planning to do, the UPC government sent troops from Nile mansions to go and arrest us. And we were taken to what we infamously called University of Understanding, UU Luzira. And we were many. The late Joseph Esanyu, who unfortunately died, who was my best man at my wedding. He used to work for the Catholic Secretariat. There was the late Charles Mukembo, who was a forester from Kamuli.
Yeah.
He was my internal affairs minister in Northcote Hall, and the late Joseph Esanyu was my information minister. Then there was Matovu, who was an engineer, Matovu, who was my chairman, my minister for entertainment. And then Baikayo. Baikayo was our speaker. Baikayo, I don't know where he is now. I'm told he's now in illegal practice, because the last time I saw him was when he was a private in the UPDF.
Yeah.
Actually, that was it. It was, I think, it was still a NRA. When I was serving as the regional officer for Buganda, I met him that time. I don't know where he is, but later on I was told he retired from the army, and he is now in legal practice somewhere. And then the one who keeps writing from Canada, lawyer.
Yeah.
Lawyer was our guild president. Actually, he ran out of the country that time. He ran into exile. I said, where? At that time when we had been arrested. So this is how I now said, okay, if this is what it means, that we who are just the student leaders, who are not even all that a threat to us, we are being targeted that way, and then I must now pick time and offer myself in an elective service. So even still then, when I was in civil service, I still used to participate in the Democratic Party meetings. The last one was the Delegates Conference of 1984 in Lugogo. I still have the photographs, and I remember what transpired there. Although I was in civil service, but outside the regulations, outside the Uganda government standing orders, I still was able to go and attend the Delegates Conference. So from there, I now had the interest that at one time I will offer myself for elective service and render service to my people. Has
this been rewarding to you?
It has been rewarding in the sense that I have been a voice of the voiceless.
Yeah.
I have been able to tell the government of the day the wrongs that it is involved in without any fear or favor. Yeah. And that to me is the greatest achievement. And I think you who has been following debate in Parliament, the time when I was in Parliament, right from the 7th Parliament, 8th Parliament, and 9th Parliament, you certainly know my contributions, and you certainly know my ranking. Yes. In the extent that I remember the last ranking we had, African Leadership Institute, the books are there in the library, you can see for yourself, where I was rated at 80%. That is not a mean achievement. Yeah. And so therefore I think I achieved something in the sense that I was able to represent my people, I was able to talk on their behalf, I was able to influence legislation and policy making. So to me, I think that's an achievement.
What regrets do you have with all this?
You see, every other good thing comes up with the challenges and regrets. The regrets that I have for my participation in politics is that many of the ideas that we put forward to government, positive as they are, were being rejected because of our few numbers in the opposition who will push issues. Even as I talk right now, with this very large size of parliament, Uganda with a population of around 43 million. Yeah. It is the largest parliament in East Africa.
That's true.
To the extent that the idea of the winner takes it all in terms of ideas is so frustrating. With the due respect, I usually used to refer, and I still maintain that position, that my brothers and sisters who are the largest, my brothers and sisters who form the largest number in the parliament, belonging or subscribing to NRMO, are voting machines.
Yeah.
They do not use their conscience, neither do they use the aspirations and the interests of the people to take decisions in that parliament. I refer to them as voting machines. And that to me has been a frustration, where people are called to State House, they are dictated upon, they are induced with the infamous brown envelopes. To Ugandans, what the brown envelopes means, money put in the envelopes. That should be made very clear so that those who are not in Uganda can understand what brown envelopes are. So that by the time they come out, they have lost their consciousness. they vote as per the directives of President Museveni. That to me has been the biggest frustration, that you really see a situation where you can't talk for your people. Look at the infamous constitutional amendment. And this constitutional amendment started in 2005. When we were coming out of the then what we used to call individual merit.
Yeah.
2005, I remember, before we could go into multi-party dispensation. There was the issue of term limits.
Term limits, yes.
The infamous project. And this was a project where people were being dished and given 5 million shillings. And that time, 5 million translated was just $2,000. And people sold their lives and souls and betrayed the people of Uganda. And those of us who stood on our ground, who refused the money, who stood for the people, I think we were around, were we 50, I think 50, 58 or 78. That was our number. I can still remember the people.
In a parliament of how many?
In parliament, we were around 200 and something. Around 200.
Yeah.
But around 57 or 78, I'm not sure of the figure now, are the people who said, no, we do not want this idea. And at the end of the day, those of us who stood for the truth, of course, because of our few numbers, as per rules of procedure, we lost them all. And I remember there was one of the army officers, military UPDF representatives, Colonel Bogere, because he stood with us. He said, no, we cannot allow this happen. And at the end, of course, what happened? He was put on a katebe. Katebe, for those who do not understand the slogan here or the jargon in Uganda, means redundancy, until when he exited from parliament. Interestingly, by the way, let me tell you, the former Secretary General of NRMO, who is now, I think, the second Deputy Prime Minister. She's the second or third. No, she's a minister of General Duties, Office of the Prime Minister. Honorable Kasule Lumumba was one of those who voted with us against. You know, you can see how people keep changing positions just because of material gains at this age. So those were the frustrations. And not only with that, but even with the subsequent elections or decisions that were made thereof, either in the budgeting or in the legislation, or the latest and the hardest being the life presidency project, the lifting of the age limit. Age limit in the constitution, which to us was now the last safety valve, which will have given us a smooth change of power. So that last safety valve
like a bullet
was equally removed because of voting machines coming in and just voting without appealing to their conscience. So those are the things which were really, of course, a frustration to me. The other thing which to me is still a very, very big challenge and frustration is the rampant corruption in this country. The rampant corruption. When I chaired Public Accounts Committee, it gave me time to know the real depth of corruption in this country, and to know the people who are around it. And you know, there's where we said, even at one time when my committee and I went to meet President Museveni in the State House, I told President Museveni that we don't seem to be walking the talk and getting committed to fighting corruption. And that time, I was not only chairman of Public Accounts Committee Uganda, I was also the chairman of Eastern African Association of Public Accounts, responsible for 13 countries. And I was also the vice president for AfroPac, the whole continent of Africa. So while I was with President Museveni, with my members, I even intimated to him that the only country, the only president in East Africa who was walking the talk and committed to fighting corruption was His Excellency Paul Kagame. And that
Yes.
I was making arrangements to go and interface with him.
Yes.
And the President Museveni told me, oh no, Honorable Kassiano, don't go, I'm around, we'll cooperate. But this was lip service, because up to now, corruption has eaten into the marrows of this country. You look at what is happening in Uganda Airlines, a baby organization. A baby organization. And you must have also known my submissions on that issue when I was in this last parliament.
Yes.
Or even at the time when these airlines, planes were supposed to be bought, the ratio, and God forbid, this country, in as far as management...
How do you suppose corruption should be dealt with?
You see, corruption can be made a no-go area very, very easily if we implemented the existing legislation. I remember in the 8th Parliament, there was a motion, a private member's bill, which became an act of parliament, moved by the Honorable Simbwa of Makindye East, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, he was the MP for Makindye East. And it came up with the detailed actions.
So how do you suppose corruption should be handled?
As I told you,
Yeah.
for corruption to be stopped in this country, government must come up with a commitment to implement existing laws to the latter, and therefore make corruption a risky venture, a no-go area for anybody. But to the best of my knowledge, the corrupt in this country are those who are well positioned in government and around the presidency. President Museveni, they are very close, cronies with him who really involve themselves in corruption without fear or favor. You look at the saga in Uganda Airlines,
Yes.
a very young organization. And who are the people who are involved in it and who are responsible for contracting or employing those people? The decision to have those people taken both at the executive and at the board level was political.
Yeah.
It was politicians who took this. And they decided to get people who either were on the same political beliefs with them or related to them. And you now see the level of corruption which is there. Look at the Temangalo land saga, which pitched Muzei Njei and Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi. You know, I remember that time I was opposition chief whip, and I even saw the scandal when I had to sack my chairman because he was hobnobbing with the government. I had to sack him so that the truth be discovered. And therefore, all of these, you see the corruption in the UPDF, procurements, in health, in infrastructural development, works, UNIRA. You see all of that. Nobody cracks the whip.
There is no operation wealth creation.
Operation wealth creation. I don't know whether it really whether you operation wealth creation where you employ soldiers, whether it is a battlefield where you're going to fight corruption or where you're going to fight poverty with the AK-47. I see all of those.
Yes.
People who are in lucrative positions who are carrying and conducting what we call in-house trading. You are in operation wealth creation, you are the director, you are the one supplying yourself, you are the one paying yourself. All of this is happening. And yet there are existing laws and institutions that are in place. Constitutionally, we have got the office of the IGG, which is charged with the responsibility. But the IGG's office also has got limitations. There are cases I know which they have tried, and when they reach a certain point, they hit themselves against the hard rock of the politicians and they back off. Now there is what they call anti-corruption unit in the prime minister, in the president's office. I don't know what it does. We have the police, CID, all these are there. The office of the Auditor General exposes levels of corruption in this country. Public accounts committees of parliament work on these things. They expose, they come up with the recommendations of what should be done to the culprits. But unfortunately, the recommendations of committees of parliament are not mandatory on the executive. They are only advisory. I'm happy. During my time of office, at least one of our recommendations was strongly supported, that of showing exit to the then former Minister for Finance, the Honorable Saida Bumba, and then the former Attorney General, Professor Kidu Makubia, when they were relieved of their duties because of their involvement in the fake and dubious compensations which went to Basaja Balabase company.
Yeah.
Those have happened. But still, even those who were recommended for tougher actions, nothing was done. They're still going there walking scotch-free. And as I said, there are a number of enabling laws. In the 8th Parliament, the Honorable Simpwa, who was the MP for Makindye East, brought a private member's bill, which became an act of Parliament, which was supported by Parliament, came with the stringent conditions and actions on people who are found guilty of corruption, including confiscation, including paybacks, including imprisonment. But I have not seen this. There are certain cases where you don't need to go to law school to know that this person has really saved himself with money and fairly. So that level of impunity on part of government in protecting, as it were, the corrupt is the most frustrating thing. And even now it has gone into the marrows of community, of society. People now glorify the corrupt. You find a young man coming from the university, from an institution for learning, in a year he acquires fleets of vehicles, he acquires apartments, he builds houses, and then you ask yourself, where has this person within this 1 year got this? How much salary is he earning? And then on the other side, you find another poor person who is diligently serving this country. And if for 20, 30 years he has not put up a house for himself, then the community comes out to say, so-and-so is lazy. He is not bright. So, glorification of corruption is a big issue now here in this country of ours called Uganda. Unless we really work, government comes up and with the biting teeth, and then the religious institutions also come up with the reaffirmation of our morals, then we are really heading for doom. This country, as I talk right now, is heavily indebted. We have the debt burden on this country right now stands at 69 point something trillion shillings. Double the annual budget of this country. And seamlessly, President Museveni continues to borrow. Borrowing is not bad, but you must borrow within your limits. You must also borrow and make sure that the money the purpose for which you have borrowed the money is seen. But there are many things that we have seen here where money is borrowed, and you don't see the purpose for which it was being borrowed. Especially money is borrowed from local sources, from local banks. Those ones are easier. But if there are these bilateral loans from World Bank, from African Development Bank, from IMF, those ones are checked because the lending institutions will give it to you in piecemeal and say, let this be done before I give the other one. But this one where you are borrowing from Barclays Bank, you are borrowing from Stanbic. It's just a matter of the secretary to Treasury and the finance minister at any one time, just like they go to withdraw money from their personal accounts. So it's very difficult. And many times even, especially when we go into the 5th year of the life of Parliament, when you are going into elections, ministries, departments and agencies in the government suffer a lot in budget cuts. Why? Money which is allocated to them is allocated, but that same money goes back into supporting the government of the day, the political party of the day, in running its campaigns. So at the end of the day, you say, but this amount of money was allocated for education,
even amidst the pandemic.
Corona. Even the corona. You remember the last time when we had the first wave, people contributed millions. And even our LC1 chairman here of Kireka had to give his meager money. People had the heart. But ask yourself, where did this money go? We received a lot of support from local businessmen and individuals. And the President Museveni came up to say, if you are giving a vehicle, it must be 4x4 and it must be brand new. If really the amount of money which was collected for COVID pandemic was put to work, It refurbished the government medical units, provided ICUs, PPEs, personal protection equipment for the medical staff, drugs.
True.
We wouldn't be fearing the pandemic.
Would actually be open.
We will be open. You say, even if I get it,
Yes.
I will go to hospital or come out walking. But here is a situation where shamelessly, government cannot account for that money. It cannot account for it. It can't account for it. People have asked left, right, and said that there is no accountability for that money.
Sure.
And that is the reason why this time they're around, when they shyly, when they were even trying to appeal to the public to donate, people said, but stop there. First account for what we gave. What did it do? Before you ask us for another contribution. And I support the stance of the people to say, no, we cannot do this. That, to me, was it answers government rightly. So, level of corruption in this country is skyrocketing every other day. God forbid, we don't know where we are going.
All right.
That's as far as corruption is concerned.
So we're going to drift away into elections in general.
Yeah.
There is an emerging school of thought that democracy as a whole is failing to work, even on an international level, citing examples of the recently concluded US elections, the previous year where we had President Trump and right before him. And of course, the current president, Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah. How he gets into power and how Trump. Now, what are your views on electoral democracy? Yes. In general, as the
yes, as I told you, democracy having been a brainwork of the Greeks, say government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Yeah.
Is something which I say is easier said than done. I want to start with the examples you have given the international aura. You remember when Hillary Clinton ran on the Democratic ticket for the presidency of the USA.
Yeah.
Unquestionably, she performed so well, because that was the first female American candidate.
She's also very qualified.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Her background is, you can't doubt it.
Yeah.
Having been a Secretary of State, of State, and having been in an elective position for long, she certainly had the credentials.
Yeah.
And she, by the way, did very well when it came to the overall elections and the voting pattern. But you saw how the Russians allegedly got involved
in the election,
in the elections, because they feared that having served as a Secretary of State, which in Ugandan terms will be Minister for Foreign Affairs, which is a very powerful position in the US government, they fear that Hillary Clinton knew a lot internationally, having served in that office, and therefore will have very strong stand on issues when it comes to the Russian affairs. So the Russians allegedly got involved, and they poked into holes into the arrangements, and went for a weaker person whom they knew would be easier to manipulate. That is Trump.
Yes.
Of course, Trump, you know, that was his first attempt in an elective politics. It was not like ours where you can say, I've not even been an election chairman, but you know, want to go straight into being a president. Because for him, he was a businessman. So that bit of it. And he was also happy to be assisted, allegedly, by the Russians. So that was where it also went wrong. But this is the second time where Joe Biden and Trump contested. In the way I looked at it, I think Joe Biden had a clean victory. He had a very clean win. Unlike his opponent, who had really wanted to be there at any cost, and he tried all gimmicks, but it could not work. You come back now to Africa.
Yeah, sure.
In Africa,
I feel we should have our own designed democracy.
Let me talk about it.
Right.
In Africa, now you come to Africa. In Africa, it is only 2 sitting presidents who have lost elections. Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia,
which is
and
Lungu, recent.
And the President Lungu also of Zambia.
Yes.
I think there must be something so special with the Zambia. Because I think their presidency is that they really stand for the truth.
Yeah.
Nowhere in Africa have you seen a sitting president lose. They will always win by 99%. Hosni Mubarak of Egypt then, you remember his victories? 99%. And that same year he became victorious. He hardly stayed. The Arab Spring. So where was the 99% of the support? That changed all of a sudden.
Yes.
Libya under Gaddafi, the late Gaddafi.
True.
Was the same. You go to Algeria, go to Morocco, it's the same. Yeah? Then you come back home in Uganda. I can say this without any fear of contradiction. I think miracles have been made to make what Museveni is. Because, to the best of my knowledge, Museveni contested for the first time as a member of parliament for Mbarara North constituency. That was 1980 elections. And that time he was the flag bearer of UPM, Uganda Patriotic Movement. And he contested in that constituency against his own brother in marriage, what they will call the Musangi, the Honorable Sam Kutesa.
Yeah.
I can say this without any fear of contradiction. Museveni was beaten hands down. He got less than 100 votes. That one is the history, and it is known by everybody. Then from there, well, of course, came the 1980, 81 to 85 war, and the President Museveni now came and became a president. Ever since he became a president, I think regardless of what people think, for him, he has always been that he's a sure win. But I want to tell you, the issue of democracy in Uganda does not apply. It is money and the barrel of the gun. Those are the 2 determinant factors in the elections of Uganda. Those are the 2 determinant factors. The gun
and
money. Those are the 2. And decisions of whether this candidate is going to win or not is not just decided by the voters.
Yeah.
When you talk about democracy, democracy is not at the polling station. It is a process. Enactment of the various laws contribute to the nature of elections.
It's true.
For example, come back here in Uganda and look at the Public Order Management Act. Public Order Management Act was pushed down our throats. And I remember it is on a record. You can check it out in the Hansard. You can ask anybody who was in the house that time.
Yeah.
When this debate came and raged on, and we were the minority in terms of numbers, and therefore we did not see us even convince the voting machines that the truth be said and it prevails. I told the Honorable Amama Mbabazi, my friend, that the Honorable Amama Mbabazi, I see you here pushing for Public Order Management Bill to become an act of parliament. There was once a Minister for Internal Affairs, pompous, just like you, the late Grace Ibingira, was the Minister for Internal Affairs.
Yes.
And he brought a bill to this same house, I told Parliament and the Amama Mbabazi. And he brought a bill entitled Detention Without Trial. And this bill was pushed down the people's throats until it became an act of parliament.
Yeah.
He was the first victim of his law.
Yes.
And I told Amama Mbabazi, I hope you will not be the first victim of your law. It didn't last long. When Amama Mbabazi lost favor from Museveni, and he formed his own organization, Go Forward.
Yeah.
And this was trying to reach out in Njeru, close to Jinja. He found the late Andrew Kawesi, the deputy IGP. And my friend was arrested. When he was arrested, he was taken to Kira Road, police station.
I remember.
I went there with my OB, General Mugisha Muntu, to visit Amama Mbabazi. When I visited Amama Mbabazi, I said, my brother, didn't I tell you? And you now the first victim of your law. So, enactment of laws are the first things which make actually free and fair election impossible in Uganda. Impossible. The issue of having an independent body to supervise and monitor elections, like the Electoral Commission. When we were pushing for an independent Electoral Commission, President Museveni, in his wisdom, thought of it in simplicity.
Yeah.
He just only amended by putting independent. But how independent is the Electoral Commission?
Not at all. Everyone agrees.
Who constitutes it? And yet
The president.
our proposal was very clear. For us to have a credible election, let the Electoral Commission be composed of people brought in from different political parties. And be vetted by the political parties. Not the President Museveni alone, appointing anybody to go and serve there. The English adage now comes into play. The issue of the piper and the tune. Who now calls it? It is the one who feeds. So, in that case, therefore, Electoral Commission has no independent ground, neither does it have the political spine
to carry out
their functions independently.
Sure.
It is only when they leave that they begin talking the truth. Engineer Badru Kigundu is one.
We've not heard him say anything.
No. When he went out now, when he just said, I'm happy to leave that place. There's no independence there. You cannot do this on your own. Sure. What? But when you were there, why didn't you say it? Why didn't you do the right thing? So these are people who are always there to appease. Even issues like the voter registers. Who are the ones? Who are the ones who ostensibly clean it? How many people are being disenfranchised from the electoral process through the so-called cleaning of voters registers? Where you know you're a voter, you go to a place, your name is not there.
All the same, in 2016 it was really terrible.
So the doctor, the registrar.